So the biggest thing is just communicating, because you're going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Like, as a grown man, like, it still hurts me. It's going to hurt. You just learn how to cope with it, but you can't cope with it if you don't have anyone to speak with. You have to talk to somebody about it. And my biggest thing is don't use losing your parents as an anchor. Use it as a float. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it bring you down. Let it lift you up, because it can go one or two ways. Sure. And like that just goes back to what we were saying. Some kids who we see now who are exposed to these things, who don't have parents like that, they use it as an anchor. And a lot of that has to do with social media. A lot of that has to do with what they're exposed to in the school system. A lot of that has to do with the parenting at home, who's not holding these kids accountable, who don't have that at home. So they're out doing their teaching themselves. Social media is teaching these kids how to live life.
Welcome, world, to another episode of the EL2A podcast. I'm your boy, Jamie Gilmore Jr. To the right of me, I got Mr. Military Man, Mr. Crafts, Mr. Myles McConical. To the right of him, you got the Rock. You see the Rock? Give them to brains together. Got it. Get it on with it. All right, so you need to know. Rock, see what he got on? FAMU 40, FAMU Fighters, man. So he was on the hill, y'all. He got his Letterman jacket. That means he earned his stripes, all right? All right, to the right of him, we got a special guest. My brother, the father, the husband, the football player, the builder. This guy just a man of many hats and police officer. All those, so many things. Mr. Sean Price. So I appreciate you being here, brother.
That's right. So,
all right. So we gonna start this off. We start our podcast off all the time. We do mental health check-in. So we say from the scale of 1 to 10, how you feeling, and you say why. So start off with you, brother Myles. So from the scale of 1 to 10, how you feeling today, brother?
Today I'm 8. Pretty average day, nothing out of the ordinary. So, just happy to be here.
Sir, about you to rock it.
Nah, bro. I mean, last week I was under the weather. I don't know if y'all knew. Last week I was not feeling good at all. But I'm on this today. I'm on
7. 1 to 10, how you feeling?
I give myself 7.5. 7. It's been a long day. Weather look cold. Busy. Life keeps me busy. One of them needs.
So how I really want to start this out, man. So we all, are busy, and we, keep talking about how we're busy. And which is because we're hardworking, man. What makes you push through? So when we're saying all this and you say we could get tired, what makes you push through?
Just knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's okay to fail, but me personally, I just can't see myself quitting. That's something personally I could never accept. And I wasn't raised that way. And I know at the end of the day, when times have gotten dark in my life, nobody could bring me out of that except myself. So at the end of the day, when things get tough, it's on you. That's my personal decision to never quit, never stop. So on days when I'm tired like I am today, that's fine. I've been worse, and it can only get better.
So what you just said, when you say it's on you, there's a mentality. I don't know if you ever heard that we say this life is called the do for self mentality. So you say, you're basically preaching no matter what's going on in the world, I have a responsibility to myself to push through. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the outside day, that's so like your son, wife, and all those different things. Those are motivating factors too that are very important. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you got self. You get around, you got to do this for self mentality. So I kind of want to swing that same question to y'all too. So what helps y'all push through?
I'm about the same thing for real. I mean, we weren't raised that way at all. And I mean, you know that, been around us when we were at a younger age, been around our father, our parents in general, but also, being your father, I know at the end of the day that if I show them the wrong way to go about life, then they can pick up that mentality, that negative mentality, and now they'll be moving around and doing things or, trying to place the blame on somebody else. So at the end of the day, it's just one of those things where, I know that there's somebody else looking up to me.
Right.
And for me that's enough motivation for me. I can motivate myself, but I know I got 3 young kids looking up to me to they want to see their dad do good. And at the end of the day, I know it's one thing, I think about rent. What I think about what rent do. And, it's one of those things where, first of the month come and the lights off or the heat off or something like that, they look at me. You know what I'm saying? I have to be one to explain that. So for, I use my kids and my family, the reason to continue for it. Just understand I have a purpose. So every day I wake up, I know that I'm here for a reason. So you can't basically put that obligation off anywhere else. Your life, your journey is yours for a reason. So you gotta live that. You gotta own up to it. So each day I draw a breath, I wake up and I know, hey, look, it's a day for me to fulfill my purpose. Go out there in the world, and some good stuff happen.
And with that being said, man, I kind of want to get to our guest, man, as far as your story, bro. So, I know you. Just to, give reference to how I know Sean, we played football together. So, me and Sean met in 6th grade, all right? So, I'm going to share this story, John. In 6th grade, I met this, all right? And the reason I met, obviously, which y'all can see that right now, he always been bigger than everybody, but he was a big cat with a big old head, all right? And every day, it happened for like 3 days a second. I was walking out the bathroom, and he was just bumping. We didn't know each other, bumps. One time, dude, next thing, bump. And he just kept running me. I said, hold up, dog. We got to go and get it in. So me and Sean used to be in the bathroom, and he started tussling in the bathroom, bro. But nah, that's been my brother ever since. At that time, we were playing on competing teams, and then we went on to high school, to make a long story short. And through our brotherhood, as far as being good football players, we were, given the opportunity to travel a lot together, to spend a lot of time together. Obviously, going to start off with shouting out Coach Collins, rest in peace to Coach Collins. He did a lot for me and Sean, Eddie as well. And but Sean, getting to the beginning of your time, man, Central Florida. I'm great city of Central Florida.
Yes, sir.
All right, so kind of take us back to your childhood, man. You grew up. How were you brought up?
So, I mean, like you said, I was raised in Central Florida, small country town. Not too many people know of it. Raised on my grandparents. Was raised to be a blue collar young man. In the summertime, I picked peanuts, earned my fair dollar, and during school, I would have to work on the farm. Either whether I was before or after, it didn't matter. There was always something that needed to be done. And growing up, like I didn't have a father. I lost my mom at a very young age. I lost her when I was 2, to a car accident. That was unfortunate, but my grandparents did a very good job of raising me. So, growing up, I didn't really have that direct father figure. My grandfather did what he could. He drove trucks. My grandma delivered babies for 32 years, so they were always on the road. And when they weren't there, my auntie, she raised me and my brother and my sister. So it was a simple life, growing up in the country. Not much things you can do like you can do in the city, being an inner city kid. Kind of use your imagination. Your best friend becomes, the animals that you feed every day. You got to talking to animals, playing with dogs, and all that good stuff, and using sticks and firearms or whatever need be. But it wasn't until I got into middle school where I was introduced into sports. That's where I met Coach Ken. I believe he's still the coach now from the senior coach. I was in middle school, walking through the cafeteria, and that's where around that time, that's when Coach Ken would come recruit players. And he saw me walk there. He asked me, do I play ball? I was like, no. He's like, where are you going to? And he handed me this piece of paper. He said, take this home to your grandparents. Took that paper home, went to my first workout on a Wednesday night. First time I ever jumped up on a bar. I believe he put like 135 under there or something, tried to lift it. It fell straight on my chest. I remember going home telling my grandma I didn't want to play football anymore. But they didn't let me quit. So from that point on, played my first season with the senior Colts. My very first game was probably my most embarrassing game. I think my grandma still got the clip of that. I was playing defensive end. The ball would snap, and as a defensive end, you're supposed to go tackle the guy with the ball, and I kind of just stood there the entire time. Kind of how we was talking about earlier, how like hanging around the pile and you got cleaned up. So you got cleaned up the entire game. After the game, I thought I played a good game. I had never been introduced to the game of sports, let alone football. So I got home, and my grandparents, my uncle, my auntie, my brother, sister, everybody you name it, they ripped into me, man. It was like telling me that was terrible. That was embarrassing. You should have. That's not how you play. We ain't gonna take you back out there. But that's how you're gonna go out there and put your foot forward. And I don't know what necessarily kicked in. I don't know really what kicked in. It was something mentally speaking. So I didn't really have a competitive edge. Nothing about growing up on a farm and picking peanuts, gives you a competitive edge. So that very next week, so we played on Saturday. It was off Sunday. Came to practice on Monday. Something back in my head, why is this thing called Murder's Road Start practice? This one guy was standing in the box. You know about it. one guy was standing in the box, and the team lines up 10 yards in front of you in a straight line. They just come at you full speed. You got to keep knocking them off, hitting them and knocking them off. I remember doing that drill. This kid named Shane Richardson, you know Shane too. And he was about maybe 250 pounds in 6th, 7th grade. I was maybe buck 20, buck 30. I wasn't that heavy back then. I remember he was running through me, and I laid down on the ground. I was crying in my helmet, but I feel like nobody else see that. And I think he came back, he picked me up and asked me, all right. I was like, yeah. So practice continues forward or whatever, and then we get into like a scrimmage ordeal. And he threw a toss sweep. I forgot who the running back was at the time, but he threw a toss, and all the defensive end. All I remember was just running full speed, and I ran through that running back. I don't know who it was. I remember standing up, and everybody was just like screaming, you know, oh, good job, good job, good job, good job, great job, great job. And then when Coach King coming over, he patted me on my helmet, he grabbed on my helmet, he looked at my eyes, he was like, I love you, son. And that was the first time a grown man ever grabbed me like that and told me he loved me. And it was at that point where I developed the love for the game of football. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandfather, you know, he said, I love you, son, but he never they're never intimate with me. You know, as a child, at least where I'm growing up, as a man growing up, you're taught to be tough. Men are really intimate with one another. So to receive that on that day, that kind of opened my eyes. That kind of set a fire in my heart. Like, dang, I want more of that. I want more of that. So that's when my drive for football came. Finished out that season. That season carried on. I got progressively better. Had an off season. That's when I started playing basketball with you. The very next season. We obviously been dominated. We got a good season there. Football came back around then next year. And that's when me and you got real competitive, and all the accolades started coming at that point. You know, I really pushed because that's what I crave. I just crave that affirmation from a father figure. Man, the father figure comes to my life.
Before we get too far along, so you said a lot, right? Then it's a lot to take from that, a lot to break down from the piggy peanuts. I never heard that. From the piggy peanuts to being a country boy. But something that really stuck out to me is your mom and your father. So that missing component. So that's something I always knew about you. Even when I first did, I used to wonder, hey, how is he staying born? How is he, able to push through this? And even hearing the football story that you just shared, you had father. Usually that's who introduces you to sports and throws the ball, but you do those different things, and you had that missing. So with those two components missing in the beginning of your growth, and even now, how did that affect you? How did not having that affect you?
Initially, at first, it didn't affect me much because I didn't understand the magnitude of what I was missing as a young man. I didn't understand the importance of having that motherly, nurturing love and that manly nature. I'm saying to teach you the ropes, teach you how to be a man, teach you, hey, if you get a bruise, whatever, it's going to be okay. You know, I pretty much was designed, like I said, my grandparents did a wonderful job. I love my grandparents for that. You know, I was always taught, wake up, go to work, get a job done, go to eat, go to sleep, wake up, repeat. You know, so I thought that's all I knew. You know, it wasn't until I got around other young men who had a mother and a father, and there'd be random times. So I'll give you an example. I was playing AAU basketball at Team Stat, and I stayed with one of my friend's house. His name was Austin. His dad's name was Mike. I can't remember his mom's name. But I had him going to like McDonald's, random night in the car. And then just seeing like how they interacted with him. I was in the back seat. I was like, damn, that's when I realized that was something I would never have. I'd never had that, you know. But playing sports, you know, having sports, you always have, whether it be a coach, whether it be a fan, whether it be a friend, because of what you were portraying on the field, because you were excelling on the field, you never lack that thereof. It's not until you are no longer an athlete, you know, where you realize what detriment that can have on your life, not having a father, not having a mother. So it wasn't, honestly, for me, it wasn't until my later life where I realized how hard it is, or what I'm missing out on in the sense of not having a father. So, like I told you, when Coach King came to me and told me he loved me because I did a good job, for me, that was my first time experience. And it was like a crackhead on the streets. I first did crack. That's all I ever wanted. That's all I wanted. I wanted more and more of that. So when football, then, you know, coach will preach to you, hey, make sure you get your grades, make sure you do good at school. So I took that to heart. So I never had problems in school as far as academics, and as far as sports, God already given me the size. So it is my pretty much in my hands to take that next step athletically. You know, and I had the right guys because shortly after that, like we mentioned earlier, that's when Coach Collins came into my life. And that man he poured his soul into each and every one of us, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing he wouldn't do for us, you know, and he definitely filled that void for me until he left us here, you know what I'm saying? Like I called college anytime night he was going to pick up. It was never more time where that man would not be there for. No matter how much we pissed him off in camps, he wanted to fight us. That man loved us unconditionally. He didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody I'll never forget. But he was, if I had a father figure, I would want it to be someone like Coach Collins for sure.
To hear that, that's, you know, more respect for me to him, because, you know, that's what kids need. That's, you know, especially with kids who may have had, you know, your story or stories of, you know, just going down the wrong path. They need to hear that they love them. They need to hear a man tell them that they love them. And I think that's one of the things, like you say, and coming with Collins, from the time he was, you know, from the time that he came into our life with when we came into his life, you know, the love was there. Mm-hmm. So now I didn't even know that you were a father up until now, because that was going to be a question that I had.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, how, I guess, you know, not having a father growing up, how do you father?
Man, that's kind of a very, in a sense, complicated question. My son first came about, I was nervous. You know, he obviously, you know, he wasn't playing. It's kind of popped up. When I found out I was having a child, especially when I found out it was a boy, there was something. There's just that fear. It's like, how am I going to raise a boy to become a man when I never had? No, that was never provided for me. Mm-hmm. So that was my biggest insecurity. And that's why I said it came along later in my adolescence when I stopped playing ball and my son came about. Mm-hmm. It's like, how am I going to teach this kid? You know, and it's every day I'm learning something. My biggest thing that I've learned, because I know what I lacked the most, was just being present in his life. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what you buy these kids. You can buy them, you can take them on all these trips. What these kids, at the end of the day, when they grow up and become men like us, what we cherish most is how present our parents was in our life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because the more present you are, the more advice you can give. And, you know, of course, you're going to butt head with your kids. We all butt head with our parents. But in the day we grow up, we understand that our parents foresee or wanted a better future for us. And the advice ultimately that they were giving us was the best advice. So having my son now and trying to, you know, parent him, it's like I go on a whim. I don't buy him everything. I don't give him what he wants, but I love him as he needs to be loved. I teach him that, hey, son, it's okay to be vulnerable. My nephew, same way, you know, because they don't really have a father in their life as of right now. I teach them that it's okay to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. I know it's okay. You can be tough and still be vulnerable. You can be a man and still cry. You know what I'm saying? Tears don't make you soft. Tears make you human.
Yeah.
And I try to teach that to my son, my nephews, even myself. You know, sometimes I beat myself up in the career that life that I live, and, you know, being in those dark areas that I've had in my life, you can either go one way or the other. You can say, you know, F the world, it's about me, or you can say, nah, this is what the world has given me. These are the cards that have been dealt. This is how I'm going to play my hand. I'm going to play it according to the right one. And it's always good to just be a good human. So when it comes to my son, man, being in a lot of professional work that I'm in now, seeing these kids who lack that, and the crimes that are being committed, and you dig deeper into their story, you understand why these violent crimes are being committed by these kids, because they didn't have that. They don't have that. They have to express the love. So they can't feel love for someone. So when they're taking someone's life, they have no emotion. How can you have emotion when you've never been taught? When all you've been exposed to is violence and death and gang killings. That's normal. Like me when I was young, all I knew was picking peanuts and working on a farm. That was normal to me. Animals breaking out, building fences, or neighbors' dogs coming, you know, slaughtering the goats. I'm looking at dead animals, you know, which is normal to me. I go tell someone else that, they're traumatized. Oh my God, you saw a goat with its head cut. Like, yeah, and I had to go in the backyard and bury it. Yeah. But that was normal for me. You know what I'm saying? What I was exposed to, that's the same thing with kids. Like, what are we exposing these kids to? So what do I want my son to be exposed to? So obviously he's going to be exposed to everything at some point in time in his life, but it's my job to filter that as needed. So that's my biggest challenge as a father.
What is a message you can share with a kid that's currently dealing with the loss of a parent right now? How can you help the kid?
It gets better if you allow it to get better. Don't be scared to speak to someone about it. Biggest thing for me when I was younger, I didn't know how to talk about the loss of my parents. You know, like I said, I thought it was normal, and the environment I was around, it wasn't expressed as much to talk about that. So the biggest thing is just communicating, because you're going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Like as a grown man, like it still hurts me. It's going to hurt. You just learn how to cope with it, but you can't cope with it if you don't have anyone to speak with. You have to talk to somebody about it. And my biggest thing is don't use losing your parents as an anchor. Use it as a float. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it bring you down. Let it lift you up, because it can go one or two ways. Sure. Like that just goes back to what we were saying. Some kids who we see now who are exposed to these things, who don't have parents like that, they use it as an anchor. And a lot of that has to do with social media. A lot of that has to do with what they're exposed to in the school system. A lot of that has to do with the parenting at home, who's not holding these kids accountable, who don't have that home. So they're out doing their teaching themselves. Social media is teaching these kids how to live life. And as we know, very much know, social media is not the place. It's, social media, you wake up in the morning, you be having a great morning. You know what I'm saying? You wake up and you see John Doe just signed a $1 million contract. You already, comparison to people, you've already started your morning off wrong. Now you think, dang, I gotta go work 9 to 5, and this man just signed $1 million to make a YouTube video. You know what I'm saying? So same thing with these kids, man. It's my biggest message to these kids: you lose your parents, don't allow it to be an anchor of negativity. Use it as positivity, because there's more than just you who's going through that. There are a lot of people who lost their parents and they still have made a life for themselves. There is a light at the end of that tunnel that you're traveling. So that's my message to them.
It's crazy because when you ask that question, or when you say, again, we didn't lose our parents, so our parents are still here. But that's one of the things where, even with my dad, Jamie, he raised us. He raised me, you know what I'm saying? But with my biological dad not being there for the longest, bro, I couldn't talk about it. I didn't know how to. I didn't know who to go to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for a long time, I was dealing with stuff internally, which this young man was probably seeing, the family, they'll ask questions. Why are you so angry? Why are you mad at the world? I didn't know how to express it. So some of my behaviors was because of how I felt, and I didn't have anybody to talk to. Mm-hmm. But, just like you just said, being able to, I think I got to the point where when I realized, like, our dad, Jane, when I realized, I was like, this man really do love me. Even though I'm not his biological kid, I realized that, and it was like my 10th or 11th grade year, and like something in me just flipped. And then me not having my biological dad in my life because I seen the relationship my dad and my brother had.
Right.
Like that was one of the best things. His junior and senior together. So I'm like, dang, I got a dad that's same name as me. And it's like, we're not together. We're not doing these things. So it used to hurt me. But then at that point, when it mentally flipped for me, I didn't use that as a anchor. I didn't use it as a reason to act out anymore. And at that point in time, I swear it seemed like, I still did the normal man, stuff that I did to get in trouble, but I didn't allow that to be the reason, or I didn't allow myself to continue to grow and say, well, I'm this type of way. I'm this man in life because I didn't have this, I didn't have my biological dad.
Right.
So that's a great point.
Our situation. So even with what he's sharing, it took me to basically be grown or to grasp the concept that he has another dad. You get what I'm saying? Like, because, and I've been over to his dad's family house, but that's never clicked. And maybe because his dad spent a lot of time in jail, so he really wasn't around, but that just never clicked to me. It was one time a newspaper article said his half brother, they said something like that. What? Half brother? It's my brother. It's all I know.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like stuff like that ain't, but kudos to, our dad, I get our family, I guess what, but like we was raised as my brother.
Yeah, that's all you know is that's your brother. They never present that in your life, and it's your half brother. It's your brother.
That's my brother. My dad, love all is the same. You get what I'm saying? Even like the frustrations he said he was dealing with, a lot of it, obviously I just thought he was an angry person. You kind of left off in the story of what you're saying. I think you kind of stopped around that high school point of time, and you said a bar, bro. You just said a bar. You said don't be an anchor, be a float. That's a bar. But don't be an anchor. That's some big time stuff. And so when we talking about being afloat, you've been floating on this football thing for a while. You still floating, and you still floating, man. It's a while back we started. We around the same age. You still floating, but I kind of want to pinpoint our high school time, right? Mm-hmm. That's where you left off. When did you figure out that you was that guy?
It wasn't until our junior year, spring, our junior spring, and we had all those college scouts come to the game. Keep in mind, like I said, I hadn't been exposed to any of that. So I think it was Tennessee and Florida. Jordan, you name it. Every college you can think of was at our spring game. We played games by high school that, you know, and Coach Collins, they came and spoke to games. He's like, man, Tootsie Pop, you know, you got all these, wait, that's not. I'm just going to try. What's that? You try. You said, what? Okay, I ain't going to do it.
That's nice. That's still a cold story.
Yeah, how good talking about it. It's confidential. Yeah, man. You know, he's like, man, you got all these offers from these big SEC, big time schools, and I was like, what does that mean? They're offering me what? You know, he was like, a scholarship. I'm like, what was a scholarship? Here I'm in junior high school. I didn't even know what a scholarship was. I'm like, what is that? He's like, they pay for you to go to school and you can play football. I was like, oh, they pay for my school. I can go to school. It's my way out. It's like, yeah. And college was always, he was huge on self-effort. He was always positive, always telling you how good you were. You know, don't get me wrong. He'd tell you if you were slacking, but he was always uplifting and positive. Like, man, you can make it. So you're the best in the league. You're the best tight in the league. Whatever you want to do, you can be whatever you want to be. Man, I think just constantly hearing that from him, and even TK, Terrence Kennedy, Coach Terrence Kennedy, another one that he came a little later in my career, but you know, he pushed me too, and just hearing him, you know, always tell you, man, you can be great. You're gonna be great. Just keep working. Just keep working. And then I started to hear them say that, and I started to reap those results on the field on game days. And obviously, I wasn't having 200 yards, 5 touchdowns, you know what I'm saying? But I was still holding it down. I was doing my thing, man, and you know, it became easier. And after a while, when it became easy, it wasn't easy because I was overly talented. It was easy because me, you, Troy, I had these guys when we first got there. They led by example, so we knew how to work hard. We just worked. That's all we knew. You know what I'm saying? We covered before school, we covered after school, in the summertime. That's all we knew, work. Then we had to run track, basketball practice, street track practice. All we knew was hard work. So all that hard work had paid off. And like I said, you said, when did it start to manifest? When did I realize that, you know, I was quote unquote that guy? It happened in that junior when that spring. And then as that junior year progressed, I was like, oh yeah. And then we started going to summer camps that my junior year, and nobody could stop us. So, you know, that's who we are. Nobody can stop us. And from that point on, I was like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, you know, you go, so you did the early stages, then you do high school, but you said something that, you know, it's still the men, and I think that's what's missing in today's society. If nothing else, I stand on that wholeheartedly. You know, that's why I take being a father so serious, because knowing how much you say Coach King, you say Coach Collins, you say Coach TK, every one of those men said something positive to you, whether they loved you or they put so much time and effort into you to make sure that you became the man that you are today.
Yep.
And that even through your progression from you know, not knowing what football was, and you've been able to go to college with it, you know, that they played a pivotal part in your life that helped transition you into where you are today. And I think, again, just going back to what we do with these kids, is like, you know, a lot of times, you know, I said this to the kids, I think at Howard Academy, a lot of the times, what's one thing that you're going to coach to say? A coach see more in you than you see in yourself.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So as a father, if a father is playing his role right, and when I say playing his roles in kids' life, they see more in you than you see in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Than the child sees in themselves. So when we, you know, the things that we do align, and so you have a great success story. So, you know, when we do what we do as far as mentoring, we look at some of these young boys, you know, some of the parents, some of the moms be so upset with them, or some of the teachers be so upset with the kids. And it's just, you hear some of the stories that they say, or some of the things that they think of them, and he's not going to be anything, or X, Y, Z, and it's just like, you don't even know, you know, I can't be so upset with your son the way that you are with him, because if I you know, if I show a negative mentality to him, if I show a negative attitude towards him, that can lead him in a whole nother path of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, again, that you said something again, just you know, having those men in your life that weren't even your father, biological father, they played a pivotal point in your life that helped you get to where you are today. That's just what we got to do. That's what we got to continue. That's one thing that I try to, you know, always tell myself, you know, love on these boys the way that I love my own kids, and knowing that, you know, there are going to be times where, like you said, Coach Collins going to get on, he goes, plenty of times. So that's it. We're just thinking up the field, you know what I'm saying? Or we you know, sprints or whatever the case may be. But that's what we're supposed to do. That's what, man. I mean, that's what, as a man, we're gonna come in, and and let a kid know, like, nah, that's not the right way to go.
Right.
You need to change your mentality. You need to change your behavior. You need to change your actions. Because if not, this is the route you could go with. And you know what I'm saying? So I think, again, that's just big to still see that there were men in your life help you progress to where you are. Well, it goes to show too that, like, one of the words that, you know, that you keep using is exposure. You know, exposure is going to come regardless, right? You know, a kid is always going to be exposed to something throughout life. We're always going to experience a level of exposure to something. But if it's not accompanied with guidance, you know, that's what's really going to take that child to the next level. You know, you were exposed to a lot of things that other people may not be able to relate to, but you had guidance at several building blocks in your life. And that's just a testament that it has to be accompanied with guidance. You know, they always want to be exposed to something. You got to be there, like you said.
Presence is everything.
And it's a guy that's in the bond. So even thinking about the relationship that me and him have today, it was built on, and football gave us that. That's why I always cherish the game of football so much. Because I'm pretty sure you can go back to your college days, and even there's relationship that you built, all of us, through the game of, and even you, being a military guy. That's these things they offer us so much. So people sometimes ask me, like, what did football do? And that's my answer. Like, football gave me brotherhood, literally brotherhood. It instilled the discipline. It gave me the mentorship, all the things that, and I had my dad in my household. But having those extra, like we're saying, having those extra people that can give you, because so a guy like Coach Kyle, he's gonna know, okay, he got his father. Okay, I'm gonna be a father figure, but I ain't. You know, I'm gonna show. You know, I'm gonna give him another set of guidance. He was able to provide that he needed. Football provided me a whole bunch of discipline, hard work, a whole bunch of skill set, mindset that football has instilled for me. I want to know what the football do for you, sir.
I mean, if you look at the game of football in general, it's a life sport. The things you deal with in football are not necessarily exact same things you're going to deal with in life, but with football, there's a lot of adversity, right? Especially when you've reached a pinnacle in your career where you are the face of programs, you know, and then you face an injury, right? And you plan on going to the draft, or you lose a ball game. You guys have been grinding all week, all summer camp. You lose that game, or you know, you get for some odd reason you drop a pass, you know, game-winning touchdown. Which I had a couple of those. You know what I'm saying? Like those feelings, those emotions you have, like you feel like the world is just like falling down, because all we knew was you work hard and you reap the benefits of it. But football teaches you that no matter how hard you work, you're not always going to win, you know, but you have to keep moving forward. Here's a 10, 12 game season.
Mm-hmm.
You lose that first game, you're not going to play the rest of the season. No, you're going to put your helmet on, you're going to put your shoulder pads back on, you're going to put your cleats back on, you're going to go to practice, you're going to correct the lessons, the mistakes, the lessons you learned from the previous game. You're going to move forward from there on. That's the same thing with life, right? You get fired, you get laid off from a job, but you're not going to open more job applications. You're not going to update your resume. You're not going to put your best foot forward and keep going. You're not going to brush your teeth in the morning. You're not going to make your bed. You know, it's the small things. Football, small things, all detail. It's a game of inches, right? If we're running a 36 power, I'm tight end, we gapping out with tackle. If I don't take that first lead step inside and I got that big defensive man who's slanting, he cuts that C-gap, you get lit up in the backfield, right? If I'm at work and I'm a cop and my partner calls for backup and I'm supposed to have this 6, I'm supposed to be keeping my eyes on the window, right? And now I got my eyes on the window and someone pulls out a rifle and shoots both up in the back of it. And obviously that's going to you're going to make it. But say he's shooting, he missed, right? That's a huge lesson learned, right? So football taught me that details are important, right? And like I said, tell you, no matter how hard you work, dude, nothing is promised at the end of the day but hard work, right? And lessons learned from that. So football for me it's a life structure, because yes, it has its hard time, but it also has its benefits. It also has its perks where you did succeed, where all that hard work did pay off. You know what I'm saying? You can sit back when you won a championship, you go to a ball game, you can sit back and you miss. You sit there, it paid off. It was worth it. You sit on that for like 2 days. You know, you get 2 days off of work. Guess what? You back at work. You got to keep the light again. So
back at your day.
Exactly. So again, football is life, right? You work hard all week, get your weekends off, but guess what? Take a deep breath on Friday night. You finna go out with your boys, your family, or sit in the house, chug a beer or whatever. On Sunday night, you gotta go back to work on Monday. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing football taught. It's a constant process, but you have to get better. Like even when I'm done with football, I don't want football to be the only thing I put my all into. right? I don't want to stop growing. Like football is like every day I know I can get better. I take that same approach at work as a law enforcement. How can I get better? You know, it's not necessarily taking people to jail. It's like, how can I change someone's life? How can I become a better cop? How can I articulate my words better? You know what I'm saying? We deal with people who are not in their right mind. How can I deal with a person with dementia who doesn't necessarily know what's going on, who think I'm Michael Blackson or Mike Tyson? I'm out to rob this $1 million home. This man's been homeless for 3 months. You take a bath in 3 weeks. How can I talk this man down and get this knife out of his hand? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I become better for the people I'm meant to serve? You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, when I serve someone else, I'm ultimately serving myself. So football has taught me that self-improvement is not always about you. So I'm getting better at practice, not for myself, but for my team. If I don't perform, we lose. If you don't do your job, it's 11 people on that field at a time. If one person mess up, it's a one. Same thing in work.
That was big. That was big that the game taught you, like, accountability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the word.
Wrong step. Wrong step the wrong way. That's going to mess you up. You know what I mean? Not listening, jumping off. Like, there's so many things. I love it. You pinpoint how you take correlate from the job, from the football to the life. So that was big. One thing that you pointed out when you just say details are important, and we know details are important. But one thing, I think I'm a very detail-oriented gentleman. I understand when it comes to college football that there are big schools, Power 5 schools, there are mid-level schools, there's different levels to tiers. I understand Alabama's, your Georgia's, your Texas's, big schools. I sat in the office with Nick Saban, with you, and had a conversation. Me and you talked about Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Saban won't you?
Yeah.
Saban telling me, hey, you can come kick return. I'm trying to the ball. He telling you, come here right now, you got Oklahoma. You come here right now, you got all the other schools. You come here right now. University of South Florida.
Well, I'm talking about.
So how, what, when, what, how, what was part of that? Why did you do that?
We transparent.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was really young. I ain't bad to nobody, but speak highly on everybody. I just thought I was in love, and it wasn't gonna go any further than my heart would permit. So I committed to USO because at the time could have went to Florida, but there was some weird stuff going on with the tight end coach. He was at Tennessee State or something, and I guess I blew him off. I didn't remember the guy. Went to his office, and he wasn't the guy for me. And, so the only other option was South Florida. So I was going to Tampa because I didn't want to be away from my other half at the time. And hey, lesson learned from that. Yes. You're going to make a decision, make that decision for yourself. Don't let anyone else dictate where you want to go in life, what you want to do in life, man, because life is short, especially since I've lived it and I've been in the spirit I'm in now. You see death often. Life is short, man. So you can't go back in time. No one's going to apologize, or you can't get that back. I can't get that decision back. I can't go back and recommit to Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia. USF is where I laid my ground, and that's what my history. That's what my history is going to be set, man. But yeah, I definitely went down to kind of a decision I made for someone else.
Hey, this reminds me of Mr. Head, the story that he told me before I went off the film, right? So he was telling me about a dog that was on the track. And I guess the dog's mom had told him, hey, stop. He kept playing around the track. The train gonna come around and kill you. So the dog was playing around the track, running in circles, chasing his tail. So till one day the train was coming, the dog was chasing the tail. As soon as the train came, cut off the dog. Yeah. What's the more of that story?
Don't chase tail.
Chase tail. The only hitch is a little piece of tail.
Yeah, man, I was like,
But even with that, so going back, and obviously, it played out how it played out, and you had a successful career. I know at one time you were leading reception, yards. Is that still that?
No, actually, my brother Mitchell Wilcox, that plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, he broke that record.
So he had a successful career.
Yes.
Looking at hindsight, looking back, would you change anything about that decision?
I mean, oftentimes I tell myself, dang, I wish I would have went to this college. So, I wish I would have made that decision. But at the end of the day, no, man, because no one put a gun in my head. No one put a knife to my throat. No one said if you don't go here, it's gonna be you only have 3 weeks to live, or you're gonna lose a family member. It was my decision. And after my first season there, I mean, I had a very good season. I was freshman All-American, so I was all about it. And I had told myself when I made that decision, because a lot of people question, why the heck are you going to University of South Florida when you have all these big fops, when you have every op in the country, and you going to South Florida? And that was just that fire in my heart. I was like, you know what? It's my life. I'm going to live it the way I want to live it. And whatever decision I make, I'm going to make sure the decision I make is the right decision if I have control of it. So, I mean, going to USF, yes, I had a very outstanding freshman season. My sophomore season, Skip Holtz left. We had Coach Taggart come in, and he was more of a pro-style offense approach when he got there. So they made me gain 20, 30 pounds, basically put me in fullback. Those times got real dark for me because I wasn't comfortable playing at fullback and running down the pipeline of the linebacker who all he's done in his life is just hit people. High school, I was basically wide receiver. And so that wasn't good, man. I suffered quite a few injuries my sophomore year. That's the first time actually where my grades actually started to dwindle. You got real low in college. That was probably my lowest as far as college set up and my athletic career. That was the lowest I had ever been. I was depressed because, that little monkey on my shoulder started creeping in, and they told you made the bad decision. You made the wrong decision. Now look where you at. You ain't scoring touchdowns. You're overweight. You're getting hurt. Coaches ain't showing you no love. And this is what it was. But I needed that because that woke me back up. I needed to get rock bottom basically again. Now essentially I can't say rock bottom because I'm on scholarship, I'm in college. But at the standard that I held myself, I had to get rock bottom. And being that low, that's not the image I wanted for myself. So I took it upon myself that next year, my junior year, I was like, I'm gonna bring my grades up. Took like 8 classes. I had like a 3.5. I had dropped weight, got back down to 245, and I had a pretty good junior year. My junior was very successful. I was on the Mackey watch for list for my last 2 years. My senior year, I had a really good, real good season. Towards the end of the season, they started throwing me the ball a little more. And that's when I started breaking all my records at USF. And, I wish I would have looked into the media a little more about not playing in bowl games. I see why these guys don't do it. Because I tore my PCL in the bowl game on play, and I was projected to get drafted 3rd round to the Atlanta Falcons. So after speaking to my agent, I thought I got hurt. They pulled that. I got pulled from the combine. I got pulled from all the NFL, PA, East West Shrine game, and at that point, I'm moving to Colorado, and then I could just feel that monkey coming back over my shoulder again. Like, man, you made the wrong mistake. I went to Colorado to train and be with my other half. That set me back because I came back from my pro day and I wasn't ready. I should have stayed in Tampa. I should have got my PCL treated. I tried to do it on my own. I definitely set myself back. So my pro day wasn't good. Luckily, my agent knew some people with Baltimore. I still got picked up by Baltimore, but that was for a very short stint of time, maybe 3 months, 4 months, if that. And then I moved to Colorado. And then that's when I realized, my relationship stuff had separated. I was by myself, and that's when I really realized, that's when I really became who I am today, because that was the lowest I've ever been in my life, That's when I was homeless, didn't have any money, living in my truck. It was cold. I had never been in snow in my life. And the first time in the snow, homeless. I was going door to door. I had found a job with Kirby. I don't know if y'all know what that is. So they're going to tell you, if you go talk to anybody, so Kirby is not a vacuum. It's a home cleaning system. And so here I am, man. I had to meet up at this desired location. I had to get in this minivan with people, I'm be honest, they were basically crackheads. It was one of them jobs. We get in the van and we drive 3 hours to these rich neighborhoods, and we have to get out in the snow, knock on doors, and try and sell it back. And to go from being in the NFL, having money, having a decent life, having all these accolades, to being homeless, trying to sell vacuums for my next dollar, having people slam doors in my face, calling me all type of racial slurs, and I mean, you name it. That was humbling for me, but I didn't quit. It was something about it. I told myself, hey, this is what I got. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell the hell out of these home cleaning systems. I only worked there for a month. Sold the most vacuums of that month. So I am the reigning champion at curtain. You can look on my stat. And then I found a job at Fort Carson, and that's when I became an intramural sports director. And I started working with military soldiers who were coming home from deployment, running sports leagues for them. And that's when I really found home base as far as how important mental health is, and how important it is to be vulnerable. These were grown men who had just come from war, you know, having to make decisions that most of us aren't comfortable with. You know, taking the life of a child and forcing coming back home and post out everything is normal. You know, and speaking with these men, you can almost feel like the cold in the air. You can see it in their eyes, like what they were exposed to. And for me, ultimately, man, that was huge. So like I said, I was homeless, and I was in desperate need. I was in dire need of financial help, mental help, you name it. And I was put in a position to be selfless and to help someone else who was in. And in doing that, that's when I found myself. You know what I'm saying? Like helping someone else. That soldier coming and me speaking with that soldier, me getting them involved in sports, me helping them work out and seeing those positive endorphins leave the brain. They're happy and they're calling me, hey, Price, man, I just want to tell you, I really appreciate you for looking out, doing this league for us. I greatly appreciate it. That was all I needed. And that took me back to senior coach, with Coach Ken when it first started. That same feeling I had, it wasn't the exact same, but that chill that went down my spine of like gratitude. Okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I'm meant to be. And I got into that, and I got back into the gym. I was working in the gym. It was attached to a gym, so I started working out. And I was just working out because I just wanted to look good, feel good, be good. You know what I'm saying? And that's when football came back around 2 years after that.
Get touch off before we go past all the meaty stuff. You just talk about to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
So homeless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there were some things that happened in between that time. And I don't know if you remember this, but I remember having a conversation with you around the time, I guess this time, where you just eat it when you got back and you get back on your feet. Yeah, because you cold turkey. You just disappeared. You disappeared.
I had to.
And I remember the first conversation I had with you. You told me you're homeless. What? And you feel that you pick up a phone and call nobody. Like, you get what I'm saying? So there was a point of period of your time, like you just say, you disappeared and you were homeless. Like, what was going in your mind that time, or what allowed you to not say, okay, I'm just going to come back home? You know, what made you stay up there, I guess, and deal with that on your own? Why not come home, get support? Why not call myself, Collins, Punch Kenyon, the people that's been around you? Why not pick up the phone, you know?
I think at that time was pride. There was a lot of pride. And the image that I had left here. You know, so I left a positive image here. You know, Sean Price is going to play ball. Great grades, great guy, stand-up guy. Is going to be this person. You know, some people had already put an image of me in my mind that I haven't developed myself. So I was working off the image that my community provided to me instead of the image that I created myself. So when I went from the NFL to being homeless, what didn't go through my mind? You know, it's like, I'm homeless. I'm broke. I've never dealt with this before. I'm in a state where I know absolutely no one. Absolutely nobody. You know, living in my truck. That's when all the thoughts started coming in about not having the mother to call, not having the father to call, how important it was to have those figures in my life. And my grandparents, they're already helping. They had stuff going on back home, and I just didn't want to be a burden to anybody, right? So the reason I didn't quit is because I couldn't quit. There was no one that was going to come save me. So why quit? What do I get from that? What is there at that? You know what I'm saying? Nothing. If you start working on yourself, people are going to stop working for you. You know what I'm saying? When you work on yourself and you push your thing, that's when opportunities come. Opportunities don't just find you when you quit. No one wants to be around a quitter. No one likes quitters. What did I initially have that mindset? No, it took a couple of days, couple of days, maybe weeks, months. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to realize who I was and find out who I was. But in saying that, man, like that moment in my life was the best time of my life. That was the best time of my life. Being homeless, being by myself. It was very raw. It was authentic. And the people that were in my life were in my life for me. You know what I'm saying? The friends I had created there were genuine friends. There were no expectations because I had nothing to give except for me. So what do I have to offer besides the materialistic things that man has created for me to give to others? Why can't I give what God has given me eternally and give to others? And that's all I was given when I was there. And for me, that's when I realized that, man, like there are people in this world, right? You don't have to give people materialistic things for them to feel valued. You don't have to be somebody you're not, right? To create friends, to have friends. You can be yourself. But who are you? And that was my journey. I was figuring out who I was. And I'm a man of selflessness. I'm a man of giving. I'm a man of love. I love to help where I can help because that's where I get my fulfillment. Like I tell you, when I help other people, that's when I get my much joy. You know what I'm saying? There has to be a balance with that because obviously some people will take advantage of you. And that's okay. For me, as long as I know what I'm putting into it is pure, I've done my job. So, and that's that, creating those friendships and not having the pressure of everyone constantly asking me, hey man, when you going back to league or what happened with football? It's like, why can't we just have a real conversation? Like, man, how your mental health? And like how you start my podcast, that was great. I said, how you doing in the mental? And I'm gonna keep it a buck. If I'm not doing good, I'm tell you, I'm not doing good. Whether you comfortable with it or not, I'm gonna tell you, today ain't the day. Most people, you tell them, they're not exposed. You tell them that it's like awkward for them. They're so used to people saying, how you doing? I'm doing good. If I'm not doing good, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not doing good. And then that's that.
I relate to that part, pretty deep. When I talk to people, I tell them all the time about an island experience. That part of your life where it's just, as you say, ice, just shut off. When I went out to the military, I made a conscious decision not to write back home. Made a choice. I said, nah, I'm here for me to find out who I am. And so like you say, that very broad moment, you have different thoughts going through your head. I mean, especially the military, you carry out, but I go home. Yeah. So it's like, all right, well, did I make the right decision? Is this actually forming being hungry, not being able to sit there and do what you used to do? You're in the fire. You have to sit there and start figuring out certain things that if you were anywhere else, you wouldn't have that luxury. And that's why I'm glad that you said that it was the best part of your life, because I think you have to be in that moment to really understand how much you can get out of that moment. Yes. That's when you really find out, okay, this is what I'm made of. Because now, like you said, you may have a choice. You have to perform. You have to sit there and get it out of the mud, as they say. And then that builds your confidence up by each day. It's not even like, oh, shoot.
Yes.
No, hey, I'm here another day. It sucked yesterday, but I'm here another day. So let me keep pushing forward. Let me keep finding out, okay, I'm attracted to this, or, this resonates more with me. And then, like you said, start working with people. And then, in the military, same thing. The more I started interacting with people, the more I started helping people out, the more that I was just a good friend to somebody. Mm-hmm. It's like, kind of like just being, good assistance to help somebody. And then that really starts to flourish the more that you don't have all the external distractions. You don't have mom there back home. You don't have friends back home that's sitting there trying to put all these different expectations on you. You're a blank canvas at this point. You get to paint your own picture. Now it's rough. It's very rough.
It's rough.
But when you look back at it, man, you have such a respect for that moment, that time period. I'm telling you, it's like I would never, take anything away from some of those hardships I faced. Because man, I would not be the man I am today if I didn't go through that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was about to say. That was what everything you said was great. It's God, dog, so you're a grown man, bro. You're not the son no more. But Ben, and I think that's across the stage where we all got presented with a point of our life where most people, I'm telling you, bro, we had these conversations. My brother, man, we had this talk. We've had this conversation plenty of times, but there are times in life where things got so tough that it's like, and I don't think I need to be here no more. Somebody else didn't have the wherewithal to stand and deal with the things that y'all, that we all dealt with. And I think when I think about some of the kids, man, you get some of these kids who get to the point where they don't have the mentorship. Again, this goes back to everything from Coach Ken, Coach Colin, Coach TK, all these men that played a positive role in your life. A lot of these kids don't have that. Mm-hmm. They didn't, and they'll never have that. But they have us. They have, they have a mentor in their life, and it's like that's where what we do becomes so important, and that's why I value what I do as a mentor. I could be a mentor, then I can be a father, and I'm gonna give the same. Again, I find myself sometimes telling my kids, if I was your mentor, this is what I tell you. I'm gonna tell you what to do this time. I'm gonna tell you you should, just so that they can, they'll be able to have the same choice that, when you were faced with being homeless, you had a choice. Nobody told you that, no, Sean, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna go sell vacuum cleaners, be the top vacuum, lead salesman. No, you made that choice. And I think that's one of the biggest things where, you have somebody positive in your life that can be positive person, a great man to you, a great person in general. A lot of the times, if you're doing it from the heart and you're doing it, not wanting anything in return. Last night, we were telling the kids, they're like, Mr. Eddie, don't you get paid for mentoring us? And your mom ain't never gave me $1. Your mom ain't gave me $1, but I love doing what I do because at the end of the day, if I help you become a great man, again, your prime example, if I can tell you something to help you later on in life that can help you out in life, I did. That's the only thing in return that I need. So I'm pretty sure Coach Colin, I know for a fact, this story right now, Coach Colin, he'll be, through the roof. He'll be so excited, so happy to hear what you dealt with and how some of the things that he said, Coach King, Coach TK. I'm sure all these men, bro, they proud of you, through the roof because of what you dealt with, and they probably didn't even know, but to hear how their words of encouragement, their teachings, their mentoring helped you become, and helped you through the times like need.
Yeah. Hardships, man. So it's funny that we shared it. And I was just being as close as we are and knowing that collective homes, you know what I mean? You're to a point to like you said, those moments taught me so much for me. In those moments, that's when I got my needs. You know what I mean? I was like to pray to God, I need you. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I'm my dad's pastor, would you know? So a lot of times I used to lean into his faith. So people ask me about my faith. I was like, my dad's pastor. That's how I would like make them know that I'm a Christian. They would say, I say my dad's pastor. That was my validation. I wrote it all the time, riding that for as long as I could go. Got the car. That was the first one I had to go to God myself. Yeah, we had to talk and we had to have a conversation. And that's the first time I was able to feel God's presence. You get what I'm saying? So the moments in life, what life pushes us to the bottom, bro, that's what brings us up in moments, because it's like the bungee cord thing. When you pull back, because we went so far back, and now it's like it's only 4 unless we allow it. You know what I mean? But if we, just stay in our fault, we can keep on that way. At least right. Support. And bro, we sitting up here with you, man. We don't went from here to here. We don't talk about divorce. We don't talk homelessness. We talk some serious stuff, bro. We don't make it out of this. It's life. It's life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for a man to be here in his position, to be the shining star. I know when you're gonna transition to your next, phase of life, and you put on that badge, but like homelessness and divorce, bro. Like, what are the lessons that you got from that? If you can pinpoint maybe like 3, or just some key points that you took? What did you get out of it?
Wow, fair. Divorce. That just had to happen. But what I took from that is that 2 different people, different DNA strands, different chromosomes, different backgrounds. You're not always going to agree on the same thing, and you grow apart. And divorce taught me you got to take people for who they are, and not as who you want them to be, because it's not fair to that other person for you to try to shape them in a person that you thought they were to be. Because ultimately what you're doing is suffocating that person. And that goes both ways. So just accepting people for as far as divorce, being in a relationship, just accept people for who they are. And filter those emotions and thoughts from there on and make the decision whether you guys are going to be together, whatever needs to be done from the aspect there on. Just carry on to that. Just understand that you don't own it. People are not possessions. Everyone's here is temporary. Life is short. We don't own anything. I have a son. I don't own my son. All right. I'm here on borrowed time with my son. It is my job to spend as much time as I can with him, to give him and teach him everything that I know and help him along the way. I don't own him. You know, in a relationship, you don't own anybody, right? You're in a relationship. You two are choosing to come together. That is a mutual agreement. There is no ownership. Yeah, the government gets involved. You have to sign a paper where it says you're married. You don't own that person. That's just a piece of paper and a man-made ring, right? What makes you one is how you treat each other and how you choose to live your life together. So that's what divorce taught me. As far as being homeless, for one, I didn't realize how quickly you can get access to drugs until I was homeless. There's a lot of stuff you see when you're sleeping in your truck down a dark street. People come knock on your door, asking you certain questions. It was just some weird stuff that took place in Colorado. I was homeless, but most important thing that what homeless taught me is that the word homelessness, it sounds so like detrimental. It sounds so derogatory, you know. But I tell people all the time that are going through something. It's all about perspective. You know, how did you take that homelessness? Did you take it as the society sees it? You know, as you're broke, you got nothing going for you, you made all the wrong decisions in life, and this is what happens. Because, like, let's be honest, I hadn't made any wrong decisions. I wasn't criminal. I hadn't been arrested or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I was homeless. I did everything right in school. I did everything right in football. I worked hard. I treated people with respect. And at the end of the day, I still was homeless. So that was the question I asked myself, that I asked God plenty of nights. Why am I in this situation? You know, why? And then I started to reverse that and ask, why not? What am I getting from this? And for me, man, you said the word. It taught me confidence. It taught me. So although I had received it up until that point from all these manly father figures, that self-validation, what they had told me and, you know, as still in my mind, it was there. So when they weren't there, when I didn't have anybody, I had to lean deep inside me where I had put those feelings, those thoughts, and I had to pull those out. So coming out of homelessness, that gave me a profound amount of confidence. Like now there's nothing I feel like you can throw at me besides a bullet to the chest or my heart or whatever. There's nothing going to stop. There's nothing going to break me down, because I genuinely understand. I know that no matter what comes your way in life, no matter how hard things may get, it's temporary. All right. The quickest way to get through a storm is to drive through it. Right. The slowest way is to stop. Don't sit in the storm. You keep moving through it. So with my homelessness, I kept moving through. I found a quick job, currently selling home cleaning systems. You know what I'm saying? I didn't sit there like, man, I'm homeless. What do I do? Who do I call? Who can I call? He was like, no. How can you get yourself out of a situation? Well, right now you don't be homeless. How do you not be homeless? You find money. You find straight income. I got that job. I got my first 2 paychecks, got out. While I was working at that job, I would go to the library and put in job applications for others. I use my cell phone service at local stores like Wi-Fi, right? And that's how I got that job. I got a random call from name was Lorraine Thorson. She's like, hey, I didn't even look in the hire you at Ironworks. And that was one of the best days of my life that I got paid. That was like a huge promotion for me. I didn't have to wake up at 12 o'clock, drive 3 hours and get home at 3 o'clock in the morning after getting rejected by Lord knows how many people. But that rejection, it gave me thick skin. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell me, you can express your opinion, you can dislike me, you can have your opinions of me, because none of that's going to matter at the end of the day. That's your reality. That's the reality you choose to live in, not the reality I choose to live in, because I know myself. So being homeless, like, I've already been alone. You can't tell me anything about myself that I don't already know. I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm human. I know I'm going to make mistakes. I may slip up and say the wrong thing to someone. I may say something that offends someone. You know, I'm not perfect. But being homeless has taught me to be confident. It taught me that, like I said, and I keep saying the word, everything is temporary. We're only here for a short time, so make it sweet. Like, life is not promised. This is an opportunity we have. You guys are making the most of what you're doing with these kids. Like, you are using your platform for the right reasons. Obviously, there's a need in Ocala, right, for father figures, for leadership, for mentoring. You guys are touching base on that. I applaud you guys for that. It's on the beer. I'm gonna put that out there. This is amazing. I really very proud of y'all, man. It's crazy. But homeless has taught me, yes, it taught me to be confident.
We've always heard the bad side, and I'm pretty sure even you probably experienced that. People talk to negatively when you chose to go down that path. Why? Why OPD? Why did you choose to be a police officer?
So one of my buddies in Orlando, one of my longtime, who I met in college, Alfonso Legree, he actually became a cop in Orlando. And, I was talking to him when I got back once the XFL had him COVID. We were just hanging out. I was talking to him. He's like, man, bro, you should really be a cop. No, that just can't happen. And he was like, bro, I probably should just try it out. It's the closest thing you'll get to being an athlete if you approach it the right way, as far as the thing that it embodies. Teamwork, giving back to others, understanding the details. Everything matters, making the best of the situation. Like with football, I didn't just play football. If you look up my history, I always did things for community church. He was saying, like, dude, you're basically always doing, you're the man of the people. Every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to change life. It's kind of interesting. So I came back home. I was actually getting a haircut by Rob Williams. And I was telling him, like, what you fun doing? I said, man, I think I'm going to cop and give it a try. He was like, for real? So from that point, he called D. McIntosh. Got on the phone with D. McIntosh. And he was like, hey, you think about being a cop? I was like, yeah. He was like, hey, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get in contact with Mike Barkin, who's the chief of police now. And I'm going to tell him you're interested. So we got a phone, called Mike Barkin. Big shout out to told my interest. Barkin calling me. And I'm going to his office that day, like, hey, we got to know each other. We talked, conversed a little bit. He's like, going to get you in the car and do a ride. I did my first ride with Mike Burkin. He played quarterback in North Marion. And that night, nonetheless, showed me what's the word I'm looking for? The high intensity side of being a law enforcement officer, this type of stuff you can get in high crime areas. So that already, I was like, okay, I can definitely get into this. And then I did a follow-up. Now officer no longer works at OPD, but he left a really good image in my heart of him. And the things he did, like the things we encountered, just dealing with the homeless, the officer really poured his heart into him, you know what I'm saying? And there was one particular, like, domestic violence case we were on. So between some, girlfriend, boyfriend, they got to fight, and he was talking to this female. She went from, like, she was crying, like, just screaming, like, so upset. And I'm sitting in the car because at the time, as a rider, I'm getting out of the car, and it's already like a hostile situation where we never know what can happen. So I'm sitting in the car, I'm just watching her body, like, she's screaming her lot. He's just so calm, hand crossed. He's just talking to her. And within like 2.5, 3 minutes, I can see her stop yelling, and she's smiling and gives the officer up. And I'm like, wow, from her to go from being from, like, basically her worst day, the possible worst day she could possibly have, and speaking to an officer she doesn't know, and it changed her entire perspective. It calmed her down. It gave her that sense of release for that moment. I was like, yeah, I can see myself doing this. At that point, I reached back out to Bach. I was like, yeah, I'm interested in going to the police department. Me and him stayed in contact. He got me into CF. I was sponsored, and from there, Thursday Academy and became an officer.
Throughout the journey, has there been any, because they're upsides, just every day. So going so many times you hear about, okay, I don't know if you thought about this, but what other people may think. You becoming a police officer, what your people don't think. So you be who you are. Were you taken as a threat when you came in?
At the police department?
Police department.
That's when you say, like, I think with any job you walk into, if you walk in and you give off an image of leadership, an image of power and self-confidence, I think people who do have insecurities, those insecurities will eventually pour out. I've seen a couple of ghosts within a department, but nothing too extrinsic.
So you being a police officer now, what were your expectations going into it? Was there like a path that you seen going into it? Because obviously when we go into a career path, okay, this is my 3 years, this is my 5 years. Like, what was your plan? Because other things came on, and we're going to get into that, but what was your plan going to?
For me, because that was right around time where the whole, like, Black Lives Matter thing started, and George Floyd incident had took place. And there was just so much negativity going around with it too. And that's what I was talking to my buddy AJ about. Just so much negativity going around, like, what's going on for us? Like, why is it happening? But I wanted to get a look from the other side, right? And after speaking to AJ and doing a ride along, I had a slight visual of what it could be like. So my vision going into it was to pretty much contradict what the media was portraying us, because not every officer is like the officer you see on the video. That's what any job you're going to have bad McDonald's employees. You're going to have bad doctors. You're going to have bad nurses. You're going to have bad football coaches. But now you can't stereotype the entire organization on behalf of one person, right? So I wanted to get my foot in there, and I wanted to change that. Show me, hey, I can be a cop, and show you that not all cops are like that. And obviously, I can't speak for every other law enforcement officer in the world, but I can speak on behalf of myself and how I carry myself as an officer. So my goal when I came in, my continuing goal is to always show people that I am human, and this is just a job, right? People look at cops as like robots, like they're not human. No, we're human. We put a uniform on as a badge, but in the day I'm human. I'm here to serve you. I'm a man of service, right? And that goes back to me being selfless. So my goal is always when I'm going to these situations, I'm going to high stress calls to kind of mediate the high tension and bring them down to a mid-level where everyone can kind of get along and nothing tragic happens. Now, with that being said, has it always been that since I've been officer? Absolutely. Things have hit the fan since I've been in this career, and they were all learned lessons. Nothing I'm ashamed of. But it's been interesting thus far.
It's crazy, right? So you think of it, like you said, the how media portrays an officer, whatever kind of organization. And it's funny because last week I was driving past, I was actually headed to Howard Academy, and as I was pulling up, I thought I seen somebody that looked like Rick. And, most of the time you see an officer, you grab your seat up, but all, you try to, ride straight. But it was funny. I had my seatbelt on. When I pulled up, and I was like, I leaned up like this, and I'm like, what's up, bro? But, just that interaction and it's just funny because I'm sure, I heard this story when he pulled up for you when you had some. Oh, yeah. but it's funny when we know you as an officer, we know who you are. So as an officer, it's like, okay, let me talk to him, let me embrace him. But then, you don't know him, it's like, all right, let me ride with him, make sure my lights straight with it.
But I do want to touch on, I guess, because you did share, some things I got tragic with the OPD, with the Ocala Police Department. Because, and I applaud you too. Just how I applaud you for taking a seat and doing that. Appreciate you know what I mean, for jumping into that. Because we're not doing that, but we always complain about it. You know what I'm saying? So why complain about something when you could be the profit, be the fix? To the problem. Like you just said, the reason you got into it. So for me, seeing you doing it, hopefully other, young black males, they would follow in your footsteps because they would see your success. Mm-hmm. And that's what we got to start doing. We talk about all the time. We can't continue to talk. Be the solution. Go into it, handle your business, see what's going on, and be able to fix that. I'm glad that you're doing that. But what you just said, a lot of things haven't went, the right way. I'm pretty sure you experienced some bad things. More so, because I do want to kind of hear about, I guess, the bad things you may have experienced, but more so than the bad things, some mistakes that you have.
Yeah. There's like I said, I'm human. I'm always making mistakes. But as far as one that could have been very detrimental, yeah, that was one that I know I'll never forget. I'm thankful it happened the way it did happen, because it's a huge lesson came from that for me. So I was working the 11 to 11 shift, 11 a.m., 11 p.m. Day shift was from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And the day shift was just getting off. So night shift comes in there and briefs me. And our lieutenant, at the time, was over on the east side of town. And he got a call, or chief, I think the chief had got a call. There's a suspicious person in the abandoned house. The lieutenant went over there and he reported back there. So naturally, our response is I was the only officer on the road that was free at the time to take the call. So I get over there and he's talking to this guy. The guy was acting real suspicious with him, giving him the wrong name. His tag is expired, like 5 years, whatever. We ended up pulling the guy out and we arrested him for whatever offenses he may have had committed at that time. So he kept giving us a false name. When we go to get him out the car, it's crazy. It all happened so fast, but it happened like so much. Like all the signs were there. I was looking less suspicious. He gets out of the car. He gets out like real slow, and his legs like points together real tight. Like, man, my back hurts. But I was wow, all right, well, I'm going to arrest you. That gets you to the jail. So I'm over there, I'm patting him down. He was getting kind of like vigilant, getting upset. My lieutenant followed, hey, hurry up and get him in the car. Let's get him down to the jail. So I kind of did like a quick pat down. I didn't do a thorough one like I would usually do. So this man gets in the car on our way to the jail, and he just kept saying, what's your name? Never met this guy in my life, never seen my life. Honestly, I don't know who you are. He's like, man, can I just get a phone call to my girl? And I'll make sure. He was like, oh, sure, I don't mind. Most officers wouldn't let you, if you're going to jail, don't let your phone call. So I asked what the number is, my license number. He's talking to his girl on speakerphone. He's driving, he's telling like, babe, I love you. Tell the kids I love them. I go up the road. And you're in charge. He ain't in charge, but listen, you can bond out. You be back out, right? So that's my first red flag. So I'm telling like, dude, this misdemeanor. Just listen, bro. You good. He gonna be out. You all right, bro? Oh man, you know me. Like on my hair, son. Head, nothing to the extensive circumstances that I didn't know was about to unfold. So we're on our way to the jail. He stayed talking to his wife, talking to his kids, just getting all emotional. Like, love y'all. I tell him I love them. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go up the road. Finally get to the jail. We pull into the Sally Port. It's like the cage in there. All the cop cars go in the bitch. You're arrested there. We're sitting in the back car, and sergeant at the time, Sergeant Malone, he had to follow us because the lieutenant thought this guy was going to be a problem in jail. So you get there, he's on the phone, my sergeant's staying to the left me outside of my vehicle. Windows roll, so he gives me everything that's going on. I'm sitting there, he's talking, he's like, babe, I'm about to do it. I'm about to go up the road. She's like, no, babe, no, don't do it. I'm like, do what? I'm in handcuffs. What are you about to do? And but the IRL and follow your melody, so you be good. We get you checked out, brother. I promise. I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I'm strapped. And I was like, I know what that means. It's my background. I know what I'm strapped means. So I'm like, this man said he's strapped. So I get out of the car and I pull out my firearm. And my sergeant, like, what are you doing? I said, he said he's strapped. And he's like, he has a gun. So I had my gun on him and I turned my flashlight on. This man, look, he was in handcuffs like this. But somehow he was flexible enough to hear fire stuck in between like his area down there, which I hadn't touched. And the firearm that's like pointed right at my back. Like the whole time he's on the phone with his girl, I'm driving. This man had a fire, diamondback pistol pointed right at my back. He could have shot me there on the way to the jail. Could have killed me. If I would have been remotely respected to that guy, he took my life, I'm sure. So it's a high intention situation. Back in my mind, like, man, I didn't even grasp. At that point in time, so much was going on, I didn't grasp that I could have possibly lost my life. The only thing I was thinking of was, dang, I just made a mistake. I know I'm about to be in trouble. Dang, I didn't pat the guy out correct. So over the gun point. All that ended up dissipating. You get him inside the jail. Everything had to calm down, whatever. And he's sitting there, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, man, it's like, why do you have a gun? I stood this for protection. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy, brother. And he was like, you want to know something? But times I didn't shoot you, it's because you showed me respect. And at that point, when we said it was at that point where I realized the importance of being like a good human, a good person to people. Because if I would have been a douchebag, like, oh no, you ain't calling nobody, no, you going to the jail. Like, this is what you get for lying and not being honest. I would have been dead. You know what I'm saying? And obviously I should have patted the guy down correctly. That was a huge mistake on my behalf. Like, that is a mistake you don't make as an officer. That's like one-on-one. You don't put someone in your car without fully patting it out for that reason. Exactly. What I took from that is just how important it is to be genuine and respectful. And honestly, I don't think if I hadn't have went through what I had went through prior to being homeless and discovering who I was as a person, about being selfless and caring for others, right? I mean, the other guy was a felon and had all these aggressive, very, very deep, bad charges. But dude, it was a menace. It was dangerous. The fact that man showed me grace, mercy, because I respected him. That worked. That spoke volume. That was it. I was like, when he told me, he got the time, like he told me, I was like shook. So I'm back in my car and I'm just sitting there. I sat there for probably like 30, 45 minutes until my lieutenant came, are you good? Are you okay? And I'm good. I wasn't. I went home. After I typed my report, went home, just sitting up on my couch. I didn't get no sleep. I was up all night. The fact that I respected that man, reaching up still here. Like, I got a kid, dude. Like, I could have been gone. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to take care of my son? Now my son is going to have to basically do the same thing I had to do. You know what I'm saying? That hit home for me. And like I said, it was a mistake on my behalf. That was one of the bad things, I guess you could say, that had the worst thing that happened in work, but it was also the best thing. And what I've come to learn, which is why I tell people in life, everything is temporary, is that no matter how bad it may get, no matter how low you are, there's always something to take from those. There's always a lesson to learn. It's always something that you can learn from those situations. So that goes back to, instead of asking why me, ask why not? Why not? What am I getting? So although I'm staying up at night, it took me like 2 or 3 days to process. I came to that reality, like, wow, okay, so what am I taking? Just stay who you are, stay true to who you are, stay on that line, because being at that job, man, you get so much negative feedback, and it's so easy to fall into a warpole and just be like numb to everything. Between seeing dead bodies and dealing with people who always consistently rude to you, even if they're calling you to their house, you get stuff all the time. It can wear down on you, man. It can really change you, but it's important that you realize, you remember why you came into that. You know what I mean?
So much, right? It's so much, bro. It's powerful stuff. I have to touch on the XFL when we get up out of here. Bro, I mean, God dog, we been playing football all the years ago. I can't imagine playing football right now, playing full 4 quarters of football, and you still chugging along.
Yeah.
And on the XFL, it was a beautiful thing that came about. It gave you guys opportunities. I don't know if you still got NFL aspirations. I'm pretty sure you do if you're still playing, right?
Yeah, if it comes, it comes. The reason I was so stressed out and depressed, because I allowed my community to put an image of myself that I hadn't portrayed. That's the image they portrayed me. And I live by that image, also the image that God created me to be, right? And that's what happened at police department. Oh, you can't play ball anymore. You old, bro. You can't. You slow. You have to move out there. Like, I don't just go to work. Like, I still work out continuously. I still scram. I may not be on a football field on routes, but we don't lose that. As long as you stay in shape, you stay active, you don't lose that. So when the opportunity came and it presented itself, I took it full fold. I still had my agent at the time. He told me my opportunity. Because I just have to go down to IMG Academy out in Bradenton, do the combine. Went out there, obviously did a pretty decent job. I'm being drafted to the Vegas Vipers, and it was up from there. I mean, once I realized I got drafted, it was another one of those, hard work pays off. It pays off. You just have to be intentful, you got to be purposeful, and you have to know what you want. There are going to come doubts. We're going to doubt it. But at the end of the day, when you're at your lowest, I have nothing to lose. It's all to gain.
That's beautiful, man, because like you're saying, the ups and the downs throughout your story. Before I get to that, but how much more time you got though? I mean, in 4 years you got this football thing. I'm walking the wheels.
These wheels got about, I need a oil change. Yeah, I got about maybe one more season, probably just last season, put my best foot forward. I mean, obviously I'll stick it out with law enforcement. I have my business that I run, but I want to grow on my business. So I've been doing my business since 2020.
Price bills.
That's correct. I'm looking to go back to school, get my construction management degree, 2 years at UF. Once I get that, I plan on working as a superintendent for 2 years, and then get my GC, government job contract, and start building up communities.
When you say superintendent, I mean, explain what that means.
So a superintendent is basically someone who works under a general contractor who supervises the work site. So you have people who are working. You're the person that's checking off the checklist to make sure everything's been done accordingly and on time. And if it's not, you report that back to them.
And to wrapping up, plug in Price Bills. So what is Price Bills, and how can people get in contact with you?
Price Bills is your very own home renovation, custom builds, whatever you need. Your house is looking like it needs some work, you need some help, I'm the guy to call. Like I said, I'm a selfless man. I'm here to help. I'm pretty sure a lot of your houses need some innovation. So
just speak to that. That's pretty. Like when I see you start doing that, like, this guy gonna start creating. That'd be beautiful, beautiful work. And you can plug in. You can put it in the notes and everything. That's your regular one too. Will you? No, you got two. You got two. But we'll put that in there to plug it in because you do amazing work, man. Home improvement. You want to make them go check this guy page out. I appreciate Price Bills.
Yep, that's it.
Price Bills. PRICE Bills. BILDS. Price Bills. So, man of many things, man. We started from the beginning. We went to the highs. We went back to lows. We up the highs. You know what I mean? And now you don't mark the stage. And I definitely cannot leave out without speaking on your wife. Your beautiful wife, your family, man. He spoke about his son. It's married. Happy to see that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
running around chasing tail. Just being kids, being boys, man, to being adults right now and visiting. So it's a privilege to see you along and continue growing. So, fellas, y'all got anything for Sean?
Probably be looking for a general contractor and eventually, I'm a real estate agent.
Oh yeah, nice.
Hey man, but it's the end of the year, holiday season, man. Be around your family, be around your loved ones in this time. Remember, that people out there that are less fortunate that don't have the opportunity to be around people. Pray for people during this time. A lot of people, deal with loss and all these different times. We're on these times to get it a lot worse for them. So definitely, the community that's watching this, definitely be praying for everybody out there in your community. All right. So if you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment. This man has said some beautiful things throughout this podcast. If you haven't commented about something he said, comment. Make sure you like it and make sure you subscribe. So EL2A podcast on Facebook, EL2A podcast on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube, Cutting Different YouTube channel. All right. Make sure you're showing some love. It's free. You don't have to pay a dime.
Okay.
It's free.
Love is free, man.
It's free to show some love. Like, subscribe, and comment. I hope that you'll do that. Make sure you follow Sean on all his pages. Well, I believe one is Price. What shout out Price X?
Yeah, Price_X. Short for 12.
What's the other one?
Price_Bill.
Make sure you follow my brother, man. He's doing some great things. XFL season coming up. So who you with this year?
We don't know. Maybe I'm thinking the Arts and Renegades as of right now.
So he'll be on the new team. Be looking out for what he got going on. All right. So, and I want to also do this. Shout out Coach Derek Collins, man. You mean a lot to us. We obviously ever thinking about you daily, man. And to your family, to the Collins family, to your wife. I appreciate y'all. We love y'all, man. Again, you got 3 young men that's sitting up on the stage that you have impacted so much. We wouldn't be where we at right now without you. Again, so to your wife, to your family, man, we love you, Coach. Keep looking over. So appreciate you, man. All right. But we're going to end it like this. All right, like, subscribe, comment too. But we're going to end it like this. So, Sean, I'm going to let you wrap it up. A man that's been high and lows. A man that's been on this roller coaster, of life. Mm-hmm. And not be able to be in this position now. There's a lot of people that may be watching this that's on that roller coaster right now. It may be at its high, it may be at its lows. You know what I mean? Wherever that roller coaster at, what's something out, you can close out, speak to the people, give them a little message.
At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, just be a good human. Ultimately, what you put into the universe comes back full set. So be a good human, keep moving forward. Never look back, there's nothing back there. Just learn from those lessons and keep moving forward because everything is temporary, man. Live and learn.
Peace. See y'all next time.